Hello everybody and welcome back. Again, my name's Cool Silver Wolf. I'm here in Midnight Glitch, my Tesla Model 3. I wanted to go over a few things today with you about what's going on with Tesla this week. So they've made a couple big announcements, and it all corresponds with what they're going to do in the future with their products, as well as what they foresee overall as far as the auto industry and electric vehicles. So the biggest thing that they announced was on Earth Day, which was Monday. They had an Autonomy Day. They basically had a press briefing with everybody that wanted to know about their future full self-driving and autonomous vehicle program and hardware to come in and sit down and have a presentation discussion, as well as a demonstration of what that would look like. So going through and taking a look at all the hardware components, the software, and what their methodology is into an entire day on Earth Day is pretty awesome to me. So one thing they did announce with the Autonomous Day was they announced the full self-driving computer. It's basically what they call Autopilot 3.0 to begin with, but now they're just calling, instead of going from 2.5, which is technically in the Model 3, and the newer cars that are being produced now by Tesla, the newest version of Autopilot will be the full self-driving. It is just going to be that. It's not going to be called anything else other than just the full self-driving computer. So there's that. It was really interesting that they went into a deep technical specs on the actual computer itself, as well as their chips they designed by their own engineers. So just to go through, if you want to go through and see all that technical information, Tesla put that whole entire live stream. They streamed the entire day on their channel. So go and take a look at that, and you'll be able to get all that information if you're interested into the actual computer, as well as a lot of the other process and the software, and it really shows what Tesla is doing and what their method is as far as basically proving out their autonomous and their autopilot features, and what steps they're taking as far as their whole development of it. So it's a good thing to go check out. Now with the full self-driving computer, it's going to be retrofitted to fit in existing Model S, X, and 3 2016 models and newer. There's a certain cutoff, but basically cars made roughly about 3 years ago will be able to get upgraded to this new computer. It's the same size. It fits right over here in the glove box, or behind the glove box. Elon had mentioned in tweets before saying that they'll be able to have a mobile tech come and replace that for you when they're available and ready to do so. So that's even awesome. You don't even have to take your car in. You can have them come to your house or do it in your work parking lot, or and they'll be able just to swap it out, and you'll be upgraded. So they took a lot of time to fit that in the same space using the same power. That's the biggest thing, is this thing uses the same amount of power, and you get so much more, should I say, computational. The computer itself works a lot better than the one that they're using now. Not to mention, it's actually two different chips. So there's side by side in this package. One's active, the other is turned off. So they can actually run them in parallel. So if one stops working, the other can take up, start working right away. And there's other chats and stuff that they go through when talking about it. But to fit that all in the same space with the same power and get so much more benefit out of that, I think is great. It definitely took a lot of work, and if it works as well as what their demo, they also have a little demo clip of them driving a loop on the highway, off the highway, side streets. If everything works as well as that clip, and 99.9999999 whatever situations, say in 3 years from now, 2 years from now, that would be amazing. I mean, they've already collected like billion miles of people using autopilot. So if you collect all the information, you're able to go through and feed that into these computers and kind of get a feeling of how a person typically drives, how people should drive on the road, then you're going to get the best result as far as, it already knows what you're. I mean, the rules of the road are the rules of the road. But if they're able to go and pinpoint, what's the overall best practice as far as behavior of the vehicle, mimicking other actual human drivers. So human drivers don't get frustrated like, why is this thing slowing down? Why is this thing not, keeping so much distance? Why is this up my butt? Basically they're trying to make it so your car is going to react the way you would expect as a passenger or as the driver, as well as other people around it. So that's the biggest thing with it. And going through and taking a look at machine learning, how they feed all this information in. They talked about the sensors and what they see as being good and bad, as far as being able to be used. They make an awesome point about this, is everyone that went to this event or, driving today that doesn't have a Tesla or have, another car with the Pro Pilot or, the other lane keeping, anyone that's not like Uber or Lyft or Waymo that's trying to do the autonomous cars, normal people that have, normal cars, don't have all these cameras and stuff, they drive around using their eyes. That's vision. And Tesla's got not just two, cameras to use, but they have 3 up front. They have 2 on each side, 1 in the back, and that gives basically 360 view. And with human beings, I mean, we can see, around our perceptual vision, peripheral vision, per se. So that only covers like basically what's in front of us. But we still have to turn our head to look, at the mirrors, either direction, the rear view mirror up here. Basically, we're limited more so than what the car would be able to see in a way. Because with this new computer, and even today, where it does use multiple cameras, the side cameras and the front cameras, the car can see more than a person actually driving it themselves. It can see all these views at the same time. It can bring all these pieces together, mesh them together, and get a picture of what's going on around a car. So that's something that I'm not saying is going to be better than most drivers, but definitely better than the worst ones out there, in my opinion. Would this be a better driver than me? I don't know. Everyday driving, probably. Autopilot already does keep lanes very well when it's a nice, well-maintained road. Obviously, if it's not a well-maintained road, the line markings are faded and whatever else has got potholes over the place. No, I don't think it's... Right now, the current level, no. In a few years where it's able to go through and detect obstacles in the road and potholes and whatever else, and be able to make that slight correction over and back, to avoid something in the road. And that's something that should be able to do. They've already gone through and fed in a lot of the things to detect this stuff. From cones on the road. It already tells you when it's a construction area that it can't use navigate on autopilot. Which, for it to recognize is, already a good step. So, am I 100% on this? No, not necessarily. The reason why I say no is because I'm hesitating, and obviously there's some doubt. I know that they want to get that 99.999% of all situations. That's a reach, and that's a good goal. Do I absolutely think it's going to happen? I don't know in 2 years. They're going to be feature complete. Basically everything they want to do as far as this new computer by next year. And then they'll go through and allow hands-free driving. Right now, autopilot constantly nags you because you're supposed to keep your hands on the wheel. But eventually they're going to turn it off. Just like navigate on autopilot now, you still have to, in a way, confirm that you're still in control of the vehicle, keeping your hands on the wheel. But it'll allow you to do hands-free completely. So it would be full self-driving, but not necessarily 100% autonomous driving. There's a difference. So there's that. And then eventually, once there's all the regulations and, there's so many miles that they can put on the system to make it that much better. Once it gets to that 99.998%, or even 999 or 99.7%, something where it's, definitely very difficult to have any kind of sudden thing come up that the system wouldn't be able to handle. That's when I think the regulators and Tesla would be able to sit down and go, okay, this is what we have. We've tested, we've had all these test drivers in this early access program. We've got people who've bought it. that have been running in supervisory mode, that are full self-driving but not autonomous. And we've seen this many people have to disable the system or, have problems with the system. And we feel that that's an acceptable risk. That's another thing, acceptable risk. Because Tesla also has to realize that there might be some liability that they have to take on, where if for some reason the system acts up, and I'll get into this next part here. If the system acts up and doesn't work properly, and it's autonomous mode, then if a person is unable to take over, then they have to take Tesla will have to take responsibility for if for some reason it's found the vehicle's at fault. Whether or not that actually is the legal case or not, don't know. Do I see it possible? Possibly. But I'm not a legal expert. I'm not an expert at, at the auto industry as far as, insurance and collisions and all this other stuff. So we'll have to see. Along with all of this, full autonomy. The reason why I bring up Tesla and the liability factor is they want to bring on the Tesla network. They finally announced the robo-taxi kind of style of ride sharing. So basically take Uber or Lyft, you take your phone, and you want to get a ride somewhere. You're in the city or somewhere else that, has Teslas around. You'll be able to go through and go on the phone app and call for a robo-taxi, a Tesla, that's in autonomous mode, no driver. It'll be able to pull up, to your street, to your house, stop alongside the road, let you get in, let you pick a destination. It's probably actually just pick a destination on the app, but they'll show more details on that as they get closer to that. But they announced all this where you can add your car if you have the full self-driving package and everything's regulated, that you'll be able to add your car in to go out and do Uber or Lyft style ride sharing, give people rides across town without you being present as the owner of the car, and allow those people to pay for those rides. You'll get a percentage, Tesla would get a percentage just like Uber or Lyft. So your car, if you happen to park it at work, and you only wanted to go around a 2-mile area or whatever, or I'm not sure if you can even do that. You'll likely can, but if someone happens to pick up the phone, go into the Tesla app, going, hey, I want a car, they'll be able to pick their destination, hop in. That car will take them, drop them off, and then go find someone else to pick up and drop off somewhere else. And this is something that will be available for at least the Model 3. They didn't go into details about the S or the X, but I would guess that any vehicle with the full self-driving computer and everything's all okay, you'll be able to make money with your car when you're not using it, which is pretty cool. I have some reservations against that myself. I like my car. I don't let anybody else drive my car. I've given people test rides, let them sit in the passenger seat, drive them around, let them see how the car operates. But I've not yet let anybody drive my Tesla. And I was the same way with other cars too. I just don't really care to let other people drive my car. Now, with the Tesla network, how someone will be able to call your car and take it and have it drive itself around, but if for some reason something happens and they need to take over control of the car, they would be responsible as far as driving at that point. I don't know how I feel about that. I know how people drive. Another thing is, these seats are very nice. They're durable. They seem to be durable anyway. I don't use a lot of the back seat of the passenger seats. I haven't had any kind of problem with the white seats with my jeans that I wear all the time, every day. But I can see other people bringing in dirt, bringing in, throwing their bag, their backpack or whatever on the seat, or scuffing it, or whatever else. I can see things happening with that I would not be happy with. Now, one of the slides with the Tesla network Elon did show was that the Tesla network would be limited or could be limited to friends, family, coworkers, other people that you allow access to your car. So if you're, for some reason, know that I'm not exactly sure this is going to be part of the Tesla network per se, like the ride sharing program, but basically allow you to give access for your car to somebody else that you specify, and it may operate autonomously as well. So say I live close to work, my commute's very large. Say I live close to work, or should I say, let me give this example. I go shopping, and someone's with me that doesn't have access to my car, and I don't want to give them the keys. If I go shopping, I can park the car and say someone else that I know is nearby that needs the car can go to another store that they want to go to. They could be able to autonomously share my car to get to that store, come back, pick me up, and then I'll be able to drive, and once they're done shopping, be able to meet back up and go back home. That would be cool. How practical it would be, I don't know. But that would be something to look forward to seeing how that goes. So with the Autonomy Day that Tesla had, I think it's very, very good for the future of Tesla. It does show exactly what they're doing, what they're planning on. There's some details that need to be worked out. That's not 100%, but as far as what their roadmap, their high level, this is like point A, point B. This is where we're going. It might take a little bit of a detour here or there. There might be some small changes, but that's different. But with what Tesla's doing, I think it's great and amazing, and I can't wait to to at least see this and try a little bit. But like with anything with my autopilot, I'm very cautious. I still don't do the navigate on autopilot without confirmations. I just don't see it there yet. Maybe by summer it will, but right now I don't, especially with how it handles certain things. But other people may embrace it right away, and it may work best in certain areas than others that have more Tesla drivers around than middle of Ohio. California may work great except for LA traffic. So, and that's something that they're working on too.